American politician and attorney who served as a Republican U.S. Senator from the state of Wisconsin from
Oh,
1947 until his death in 1957.
Of course, Wisconsin. I was just looking up Wisconsin. Yeah, that's one of our, that's on the other side of the Adirondacks. Anything on the other side of the Adirondacks is brutal capitalists,
Yeah.
basically.
Okay.
And Wisconsin is below Minnesota,
Mm-hmm.
and over there by the Great Lakes, Illinois, that whole thing. And hey Google, what is the main product of how do we call it? The product of a state.
Export.
Hey Google, what is the major industries of Wisconsin?
On the website Britannica.com, they say, Wisconsin's three major economic enterprises are manufacturing, agriculture, and tourism.
Hey Google, what does Wisconsin manufacture?
On the website Netstate.com, they say, following transportation equipment, food products form Wisconsin's third-ranked manufacturing activity.
It was transportation stuff too, right? Transportation.
Yeah. I know Wisconsin for cheese. I don't know if that's a big deal or not.
Hey Google, what transportation products does Wisconsin produce?
Sorry, I don't know how
Hey
to
Google,
help with that.
what are the transportation products produced by Wisconsin?
Sorry,
Okay.
I don't know how to
Hey
help with
Google,
that.
what are the products that Wisconsin produces?
On the website datcp.y.gov, they say, Wisconsin is America's dairyland, but there is more produced and processed in our state than just milk and cheese. Wisconsin ranks first in the nation for snap beans for processing, cheese, cranberries, ginseng, mink pelts, dry whey for humans, milk goats, and corn for silage.
So much more agricultural.
Yeah.
Hey Google, what industrial products does Wisconsin produce?
On the website netstate.com, they say, Wisconsin is a leading producer of potatoes and cranberries among the states. Wisconsin ranks number 1 among the states in the production of cranberries. Hay and oats are also grown in Wisconsin and, for the most part are, along with grain corn, offered as livestock feed. Sweet corn and tobacco are also grown in the state.
Very agricultural.
Yeah. I don't think there's a big manufacturing base.
Okay.
It's not like Michigan.
Let's see, what is
On the
that?
website netstate.com, they say, following transportation equipment, food products form Wisconsin's third-ranked manufacturing activity. Wisconsin produces about 1/3 of the cheese made in the United States and is a leading butter-producing state.
Yeah. And why are we having this conversation?
Oh, I was just thinking about what was the with Joseph McCarthy in fighting communism. Oh well, it would be agricultural.
Yeah, don't overthink it too
Yeah,
much.
yeah. Yeah.
This was just him being a demagogue. Okay, this was his personality flaw that he wanted to demonize people. It was a very personal thing.
Oh, really? Well, it was.
I don't think
it was-
Wisconsins are like that. Okay, as a group,
Right.
I think he was like that as a person. That was his personality flaw.
Right. But when they went after communists,
So what? It was a vulnerable group. Look,
right.
in Hitler's
Okay,
Germany,
yeah.
he went after the communists, and we don't consider him to be anything other than a totalitarian. Okay, power grabbing.
Mhm.
He also went after the Jews and the Gypsies and the Catholics. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a personality thing. It's not like, oh, this group. It's like, who can I go after next? All right, that's
Right.
what they're thinking.
Well, and I was thinking about the whole issue, the way we do that. We demonize people that we, like I was thinking about when even the concept of the hippie, the dirty hippie. We did demonize the hippie. We call them tree huggers, different things. And I was thinking about what happened to my generation.
Not that there's anything wrong with a tree hugger.
Right. But what happened to our generation is that we were demonized.
They also called them Jesus freaks. what's wrong with being a freak for Jesus? I mean, these are,
Right.
yeah, I know you're trying to tar somebody and feather them,
Right, but that's the issue.
but-
we have,
but
and then our
these aren't really bad things to be
Right.
doing. Hugging trees, loving Jesus. I
Well,
mean, what?
right,
And the problem is, what again?
right, and then just like Gina McCarthy as the climate czar that she is now, she's the climate is a term, but anyway, she's saying for the young people to don't stop bugging us old dudes for the way for our the way we do things, or what is our old dudes and us old dudes for what we're doing. Don't stop bugging us about the way what the old dudes are doing. And she's saying, she's giving the power to the young people, saying, you're right.
Okay, well then the way she gives power to the young people, leave office and let young people get elected, because that's where the power comes from.
Yeah, but she is saying that you are right, young people.
Okay, and you are an activist, and you actually want to hear that. That is your swan song. You want to hear that melody. But I'm telling you, the power doesn't rest with the protesters and the people in the streets. The power rests with the halls of Congress and the law and the lawyers and the judges. That's where the power is. And you can if you want to go to the Capitol and tell the old people in power what to do, they're going to send their pit bull police after you with rubber bullets and shoot you in the groin, okay? Brain damage you with tasers or whatever. That's what you're going to get when you. So it's really easy for her to say, keep coming to the Capitol and protesting. Meanwhile, she's sending out the police to meet the protesters with rubber bullets.
Oh, okay.
Don't you understand that narrative? That's narrative warfare. She's saying, I'm not going to change. So you have to keep coming after me and reminding me to change. Ha ha. And the only tool you have is your own body. That's your tool, is your body. Because we're not giving you power. You can throw your body out there, the target practice for the police. Hey, they need practice. So show up for the Capitol, have your protest, your Black Lives Matter and your climate change and all this stuff. And we'll send our police out to practice target shooting rubber bullets at you. That's what she's basically saying. Unless she disbands the police, then that's what's going to happen. And to tell people, young people, keep pushing on us, keep holding our feet to the fire. She's basically telling you,
she says,
come out here so we can shoot rubber bullets at you.
And make sure you keep bugging the heck out of us old dudes to do the right thing.
Okay, well, that's what the Black Lives Matter protesters were trying to do. Bug the heck out of the old dudes to do the right thing. Did they do the right thing? Well, they sent the police out to shoot rubber bullets and tear gas at them. So I guess that's how they're going to handle these kind of, this kind of activity. Holding your feet to the fire. You're going to send out the police to shoot rubber bullets at young people. That's not fair. She says that, and what? She's just pandering to her own generation. We're not going to surrender power, and we're going to encourage the young people to throw their bodies physically at the problem.
To do the right thing.
Because they have no power other than organizing.
Right.
It's not fair. I don't think that that's a good thing for her to be saying. I don't think she should be encouraging people to do that. Instead, she should be encouraging people to change their lifestyles.
Right.
We're not able to change this situation. We are Congress. We are owned by capitalism. Capitalism doesn't want anything to change. You people are going to have to protect yourselves. You're going to have to make the changes you need to go forward.
Don't stop. Don't stop bugging us to do the right. Us old dudes to do the right.
Why
thing.
would they? Why would? It's just really disingenuous to say we're not going to do the right thing. You have to keep bugging us to do the right thing.
Right. That's just like what Dave Cortese said too. The young people will make sure I do the right.
Yeah, and I said at the time, that's not fair. If you know the right thing, do it. Why do we have to keep bugging you?
Right. We know the science is in. We know what we need to do.
Okay, I'm asking, why do we have to keep bugging you?
Right.
Here's the
exactly.
reason. because
They don't want to.
they don't want to do it. And if in the end they don't do it, they can come back and say, well, we didn't do
bug
it
us
because no one bugged us for it. So it's not
So
our fault. It's your fault. You, the people.
Didn't bug us
You're the
enough.
people who have no actual power or access to power or influence at power.
Yeah.
It's your fault. Now, how disingenuous is that? How rotten and crooked is that? Tell people in the end, well, we didn't save you because, you didn't ask us to enough. You didn't bug us to save you from capitalism, and so now you're all dead.
Right. To do the right thing.
You didn't force us to do the right thing. You didn't get on our case constantly with your bullets.
Right.
You
Spend
didn't.
your time. Oh,
You
stop
didn't
going to
spend your
school.
time.
Stop going to
You
school.
didn't stop going to school. You didn't sacrifice your life to come to Congress and bug us 24/7 to do the right thing. So we didn't do the right thing. Woe is me, crocodile tears.
Right.
Just do the right thing, you stupid fuck.
Right.
No,
Right.
not stupid. Not stupid. Greedy.
Capitalist.
Greedy.
Right.
Greedy.
Right.
Greedy.
Do
Evil.
the right thing.
Greedy.
And yeah.
You know the right thing. Do
Right.
it. Why
And
do
it's
I
just
have to give up my job,
Right.
travel to the Capitol on my dime, stand out there with my sign protesting, your police coming out, shooting me in the face with a rubber bullet? Why do I have to do all that when you know what the right thing is and you just won't do
Right.
it?
It's just like.
Just do it.
Right.
Do the right thing.
And it's just the same thing with Joe Biden saying he's not going to stop fracking. And that's her administration now. And don't stop bugging us to do the right thing. That's because they're not doing the right thing.
And they don't intend to do the right thing.
And they're saying, and don't forget, when it's 2030 and we're like, under 6 feet of water, remind us to stop fracking. Right?
It's just another sign, if you needed it, I don't know why you would, that they don't intend to do anything. They're not going to do anything for you. And you better be ready for this shit show to come crashing down suddenly, because that's the only thing that's going to make it stop, is it collapses from its own internal contradictions.
Right.
And when it does, the smart money is going to be far, far away from all that. And where are you going to be? Well, you're going to be left holding the bag. You're the bag holder. You are the designated bag holder. They're going to make good with their escape. Oh, you better believe that. And, they're going to be on their private mega yacht. They're going to be on their private island. They're going to be in their well-defended country somewhere in the Swiss Alps. They're going to take care of themselves and their own. And you are going to be the bag holder. So, are you okay with that? Because if you're not okay with that, then you should be doing what they're doing, which is preparing to save yourself. They're not going to save you. You're going to save yourself and anything that you value.
They're going to save themselves.
Yes.
They're not going to save us.
No, they're not going to save us. They are now pretty much on record as saying they're not going to save us. You have to keep bugging us. Ha ha ha. Good luck with that. Please keep bugging us. You haven't bugged us today. So since you haven't bugged us today, we're going to go frack.
Right, exactly.
Ha ha. I told you to bug me. Now you didn't. So now I'm fracking. Now I'm selling Anwar. Oops, I slipped. I just gave away all the treasury to the corporations.
You didn't bug me.
You weren't watching.
You weren't right. What?
You weren't watching. You weren't protesting. So, oops, I gave Anwar away. Oops, my pen slipped. I signed it.
Right.
You weren't watching.
You didn't bug me enough.
You didn't bug me today.
To do the right thing.
No one was bugging me today.
They don't know what the right thing is.
No one was bugging me today, so I accidentally sold oil leases for fracking. Oh no. I did it again. I'm so bad. No one was watching.
Right.
Save me from myself. It's like they're a serial killer. It's like they're serial killers, and they won't stop.
Right, that they're mentally disturbed.
Like they're mentally disturbed. Yeah.
To do the right thing.
Oops, I did the bad thing again.
Yeah, and what the fuck? That our leadership and our adults, our old dudes, are so corrupt, that they won't
Yeah.
do the right thing?
Yeah, that's right.
You know, and what is that?
That's pretty much
show?
it. No, that's easy to understand.
Yeah.
That's the oldest game in the book. Come on, that's the oldest page in the playbook. Too corrupt to do anything for anybody
Well,
else.
then, I say, well, that's what Greta Thunberg did. She challenged her parents. And then I say, well, we shouldn't leave it to the children to challenge the parents. We need to challenge each other. Yeah, every one of us should be challenge each other how we're living our lives.
Okay, well, the direction that is headed is
Is somebody going to put a bullet in your head?
No, that individuals are going to have to take care of themselves and each other. That's exactly what I just said.
Well, and then we have to process each other,
Because no, you have to find each other. You're not going to change people.
Not going to change those that are not.
Those who are not on board are never going to be on board, and you could just sigh
I don't
and turn
agree.
away
I was
and go
thinking-
somewhere else and find other people.
I don't know.
Those
I don't think
people
so. I
are
think-
not going to be with
No,
you.
I don't think so, because all you have is the people that are in your life, and that's the people that are in your life. Can you find those?
I am not going to argue with you. I don't argue with anybody.
All right.
You can think whatever you like. Prepare to be disappointed.
Right. And so, yeah, exactly. And I say to myself, I can let my Facebook friends, like my friend Wendy. Okay, now she went to Colorado and she's so happy. She lives in Arizona because she's with her children. And this is the most happiest thing that she's ever done. Right? And I would say to Wendy,
Well, if she
Wendy-
stays in Colorado,
Wendy,
then I guess it's okay.
move to Colorado.
Yeah.
Wendy, or move to Colorado. That's where you need to be because your children are there. You should move to Colorado.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. And be with your family.
No downside to that.
Yeah, and all live together
Yeah.
and pool your resources
Yeah.
so you can get solar on your homes and you could remodel your homes
Yeah.
so
Nothing
that
wrong with that.
more of you could live in one place, and so you don't have to use cars and planes to see each other. And there's a whole list of things that we need to do, right? And so
Mhm.
I'm going to tell Wendy that.
Yeah.
And Wendy will say, I hate you. I'm not talking to you. I'm going to take you off of Facebook. Fine. I'm done. That's fine. That doesn't bother me. Oh, and people like Brianna, I told her that, she shouldn't be traveling up to, up there somewhere to go, Fort Bragg. And they got on and her husband got, we're going to, the worst thing they're going to do is they're going to unfriend me. Fine. Unfriend me. We are in a existential crisis, right? Don't forget that. We're in an existential crisis. We're fighting for existence. We're in a crisis, existential, with all the other species, in tow with us, going to extinction.
These are people.
Do you think I care that you're not my friend?
These are people who don't care.
Right. We don't care.
Don't care.
But I think we have to start talking about it. And I don't
Fine.
care if anybody
Go ahead
doesn't.
and talk about it and prepare to be
Unfriended.
unfriended.
Oh
for
my
Facebook.
God! Well, that really hurts me. It's like, who cares if you're my friend? I don't really care. I really don't care. If you're gonna show me your life, I'm gonna comment on it. And that's all I think we can do is comment on those that we have contact with.
Well, eventually you won't have contact with anybody.
That's
Problem solved.
the big goodbye, right?
No, you're not going to go extinct. There's going to be plenty of sociopathic rich people running around.
All right, well,
Donald
there's the
Trump
left.
playing golf.
Right, those are the people that no one ever talked to about their lifestyle, right? Nobody ever said anything to them.
No, because they're all that circle of friends wouldn't ever do that to each other.
Right, that's the kind of friends they keep.
Yeah.
And their children have been. I always said that about, where's Deb Davis's children? They're not protesting.
Private
and,
school is my guess.
No, they're in public school. She's very proud of that. But she adopted her children. Doesn't matter. They're not protesting about her lifestyle.
They're not going to do that.
Right. We're happy she's got this great job.
Yeah,
and-
there's no, and they're on their way to being.
Oh, they're going
In the
to Harvard.
echelons
They're
of
going
power.
to Harvard. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's got a lot of money now.
And that's the reward for towing the line with capitalism and consumerism.
Uh-huh.
They will make your life wonderful with some of their winnings.
Right. Oh, and they'll take you, like they say, the state representatives, I'm sure the city just as well, that the what they call the lobbyists will take you to Hawaii.
Take you to Hawaii, your whole family. Yeah.
We saw that. You know,
Yeah, that
we
just
saw-
happened recently. They got caught.
Well, yeah, and I was thinking.
We don't know who got
Even
caught.
when somebody wanted to
They
buy
won't
our
tell
house,
you.
remember when they wanted to buy our house? They brought us gifts, and you know.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm, mhm.
They do that,
Yep.
and we love that.
Yep.
So
I don't see any way that we pull out of this spiral.
no,
No. I think,
that's depressing.
well, it's not depressing to
It's
me.
true.
It's data, okay?
I know.
It's data. I don't have any feelings about it. I just look at it and I say, okay, so where is this headed? Where are we now and where are we going?
So we are going.
And then once I know the answer to those two questions, I roll with it, okay? So I don't see any way we pull out of this spiral. There's no voice anywhere saying we're in a spiral and we should get out of it.
Well, I guess
So?
Andrew. What's his name is saying it.
Who?
Andrew Boone. What's his name? Andrew Yang. Andrew Yang, running for mayor.
Okay, I'll give you credit for that. Andrew Yang is talking the language of death spiral, okay?
End of capitalism.
He is talking the language of the end of capitalism. Now, even if it's not the end of capitalism for the capitalist, it can still be the end of capitalism for the rest of us. We don't get to participate anymore. That's okay. So the language of that is, how do you create resilience?
Right. Exactly.
That is the language of what happens. That's a discussion about what happens to the rest of us when we can't participate in capitalism anymore.
Well, and the participation. It's not like we can't participate. It's not good for us to participate.
Okay, that's you having your values, and I'm here to tell you something that I don't have any values about whether it's right or wrong.
Oh, okay.
Participate
But
in
you're
capitalism.
saying- so
What
what-
I'm here to tell you is it's done.
You mean because if we turn off the spigot of fossil fuel, right? If they think
Yes.
about,
Yes, in the down spiral of the era of fossil fuel consumption, you're going to lose capitalism outright
because that's what made capitalism.
because that's what created it in the first place.
Is that true?
Yes.
Because I guess we had it when we were agrarian, but it was called feudalism.
Well, then it wasn't capitalism.
Okay.
Okay, you can't just rename things.
All right.
Feudalism was feudalism, and feudalism was based upon who held the land.
Well, but we had slavery, so it's not
And
we-
capitalism is based upon who holds the means of production.
right.
Not the same thing at all. If you think
But
they're
you
the same
see-
thing, go study your Karl
Right.
Marx.
No, what I'm saying is that you see, as humans, we've created slavery. So we have, in a sense, repeated this. Capitalism is just repeating what slavery did, which is
Well,
push
yeah,
people to
these
service.
things all blend into each other, okay?
It's the way we do it as humans. We
So,
are
for example,
hierarchical.
you can't have capitalism without a financial system, okay? Because capitalism is about the movement of money. So, feudalism, back in those days, they didn't have financial systems. They didn't have banking and loans and interest. They didn't have that stuff. So you couldn't really have capitalism because capitalism is about the movement of money. Capital. It's right there in the name.
What I'm saying is that the same human frailties is what brought us slavery. Is the same that now we're slaves to capitalism. We even use that word. So it's
Yeah, you can call it
same-
frailty. You can call it power
Greed-
dynamics. You can call it
greed, yeah.
greed. Yeah, a lot of things.
evil, immoral, selfish, and greedy.
Yeah, evil, immoral, selfish, and greedy. So
Right.
when it was feudalism, it was that's what we called it, but it was still the same dynamics. And then it was capitalism,
No,
same
then it was
dynamics.
Slavery, even agrarian. We had, do you consider when we had slaves in the South, was that capitalism because they were growing cotton and products in a sense?
I think technically, it probably would not have been that. It probably would have been closer to feudalism. Remember, feudalism
Right.
is who holds the land.
All right, that's more.
Everybody
agrarian.
else works for the landholder, and they're serfs or they're slaves.
Yeah.
So that was just feudalism, which was on its way out at that point. Feudalism was already done in Europe. It was long gone. It was lingering in the U.S. in the South, which is not too surprising.
Okay, that they wanted their what was it called in?
Well, it's backward. Backward, slow to adjust. They liked their way, and they were slow to adjust. Now, in England and Europe, feudalism was overthrown by the lords themselves, the merchant class, and the lesser lords didn't want to serve the king anymore. They had all the power because they had all the money. They were jonesing for capitalism, money management being the source of all power. So the merchant class was saying, we're done with feudalism. We have seen a new vision. It is the rise of the merchant class and the rise of money. Money, not hereditary crown and monarchy and even strongman rule. The merchants were interested in the power that comes from money. And so the merchants came along and told the king, guess what, king? We have all the power because we have all the money. You don't even know that happened. You still think you're king. You're not. We are. And we want power. And they seized it, and that ended feudalism. They seized power.
The peasants.
No,
right?
You're not listening to me. I hate it when you don't listen to
sorry,
me.
Sorry,
the merchant class.
Oh, the merchant
class.
Right.
The peasants. Are
right,
you kidding me?
No, right.
The peasants have never seized power.
The merchant class.
Never seized power.
Okay, the merchant class.
Never, ever seized power.
Uh-huh.
For all the revolutions and the bloody decapitations and all that, the peasant class never seized power.
No, it was the merchants.
The merchants rose up and told the king, hey, we just noticed something. We've got more power than you've got.
Right.
And it's the power of money.
Right.
The kings were in debt to the merchants because of things like the Crusades. And the merchant class came along and says, hey ho, wait a second. You owe us a lot.
Oh, because did they make the...
Why are you interrupting me?
Well, I didn't understand when you said they were indebted to the merchants because of the Crusades, and I was wondering what that meant.
Have you been crusading?
No, I was just wondering, is that...
It costs a lot of money.
So they got money from the merchants?
Yeah, they got loans.
Oh, the...
to go crusading to save the Holy Land.
Yeah, so you're saying the kings and queens...
You know, it really makes it awkward that you don't have any inkling of history.
Oh, stop. I'm just trying... Just listen.
It's true.
Okay, fine, whatever. The thing is that you're saying in feudalism, which was the royalty, you're saying that the royal...
No, feudalism is not the royalty. Feudalism is whoever owns the land has all the power.
And that was the kings, the royalty.
Under,
right?
yes, under monarchies, the king owns the land.
Right, so the king, so I'm calling it royalty. They own the land, but you're saying that they needed money, the royalty needed money from the merchant class?
Yes.
They did? Oh.
Okay, the king owns the land.
Oh, he owned the land.
Owning all the land does not get him to Jerusalem to free it from the Saracens, okay?
Right.
He needs money to go to Jerusalem and free it from the Saracens.
Mm-hmm.
He needs to hire knights. He needs to hire or
armor.
even
He has to build armor.
ships. He has to arm his troops. He has to pay them. He has to have food and rations.
And he got that from the merchant class?
He has to buy passage to the Holy Land.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that costs money to do that. How much do you think it costs for us to invade Iraq?
So the money came from the merchant class.
Of course it did.
The money.
Now, when the king...
So we had money back then. We had, coinage.
When the king was satisfied ruling his domain and taking from the peasants everything he needed, he didn't need money.
Right.
He was actually self-sufficient.
Right.
Well, as soon as the king decided he was going to go to Jerusalem and liberate it from the Saracens, his peasants couldn't help him anymore. Right? This should be obvious.
Right.
So he had to go to the merchant class and say, I need ships. I need knights. I need armor. I need arrows. I need horses. I need saddles. And they were like, yes, we got that list. That's a great list of things you need. It's going to cost you X.
Right.
And he was like, okay, you're my loyal subject. Loan me the money. You bet, king. Fine. That's great. Here's the money. Here's the saddles. Here's the knights. Here's the boats. Yeah, go liberate Jerusalem. Right. The king comes back from liberating Jerusalem, and the merchant class says, all right, now that you've liberated Jerusalem and presumably taken all of its treasure, we want to get paid, because that was the deal.
What year?
You were going to go to Jerusalem, come back with treasure. That's what happens when you loot another country. You come back with goods. Now we want to get paid.
Right.
And he was like, no, there's no goods. We did all this for Christ. And they're like, what are you talking about? And that was the end of the monarchy. The merchant class says, okay, you owe us money. Because you owe us money and you're not going to pay us back because you're a jerk, then we want power. And as soon as the merchant class got leverage over the monarchy, and this happened all over Europe and England, by the way, this wasn't just one
And what
place.
year is this, would you say, around? What,
1200.
We're talking about the 1200s at the end,
Yeah,
is the beginning
was
of the end
was the beginning of the end.
of feudalism?
Yes. The rise of the merchant class.
I see. Right.
And really the enablement of power through money.
And then actually that us going to free, I guess it was dealing with the Muslims, right? That was Christianity and Muslim, and it was, you know, that which started the
not
Muslim.
not that the Muslims were a problem. That was all
But
made up.
They were
the Pope made all that up.
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, it was a new religion that started in the 600 AD, and now we're in 1200 or so, and there were problems that they said. So this was like the first start of, well, I guess the Romans did it, but going out like more like empires, you know, that he had to create this empire and go out, the royalty.
No,
they
didn't. They didn't do that.
Well, you're saying that he had to raise money for like a military.
Yeah, but he wasn't. You don't understand. You don't understand any of this. You've got to broaden your aperture. The king was not going to Jerusalem to create an empire. He was not invading Jerusalem for their gold. He was going there to free it from the Saracens.
I know.
And when he was done, he went home.
But
he didn't stay.
Right, but in a sense, this was a military invasion. You know, it was like creating a military to do this, whatever they were doing.
Okay, you know what it was more like? It wasn't like that at all. It was more like someone has taken your diplomats hostage and you're going to do a rescue operation.
Okay, yeah.
Nothing to do with wanting treasure or anything else. We're just going to rescue Jerusalem from the Saracens and make it safe.
But it was the beginning of creating this, you know, going away from home, essentially, right? They were going away, you know. Well, they were being sent. The military was being sent to the.
No, it wasn't the military.
The Mideast. What?
You're really confused.
Okay, whatever it is, what I'm saying is that
it was hired guns.
Okay, right. Well, it's the difference of like going. You know, everybody was at home. You know, and the peasants were growing food. Everything was fine until he needed to start going away from home and doing this operation, of, you know, liberating
Jerusalem from the Saracens.
Right. So was this the beginning of going out? You know, going out. I guess the Romans did it.
No, it wasn't the beginning. If anything, it was the end of it. I mean, the Hittites did it, the Egyptians did it, the Romans did it, the Greeks did it, and the Romans, of course, had the biggest empire of all. And then Rome fell, and that was the end
of
empires.
Right, okay? Empire. That's what I'm saying. And here it is starting again, in a sense.
No, it wasn't. This was not imperialism.
All right, it's not imperialism.
You need to know your isms.
All right, I know it's not imperialism.
So don't call it an empire.
Okay,
because it was not. It was
sending forces out.
It was saving Jerusalem. It was just saving Jerusalem from the Saracens and making it safe for Christianity, which is just the same as invading Iraq to make their oil safe for democracy. Okay?
Right, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
It's just wanting their stuff. It's not conquering their land to keep it and subject them to rule.
Right.
I want their shit. Give me their shit. No, I'm going home. Okay. It wasn't anything like imperialism. It had nothing to do with it.
Okay.
Because they had no intention of remaining behind as an imperial force.
Okay. But what did they want? Basically, they wanted
it's very simple. I've said it many times, and it's not anything else. They wanted to liberate Jerusalem from the Saracens.
And the Saracens were the Muslims?
Because that was the holy place of Christianity, as where Jesus taught his disciples, and it was in the hands of the infidels. The Pope got himself all into a tizzy in like 1206 or whatever it was, 1196 or something. And he got all of his knights into a tizzy, sent them all off to Jerusalem to liberate it from the Saracens. And the Saracens actually weren't a problem. The actual problem, just so you understand, I mean, this is an interesting story, just so you know, the problem was the knights themselves. They had nothing to do.
Right.
They were rich, they were spoiled, and they were actually abusing the people. And so the Pope comes along and says, okay.
Put them to work.
You need something to do. You want to kill and pillage. Okay, fine. We go Go liberate the Holy Land from the
Right.
Saracens.
So he had a night force. He did. The royalty had this night force.
No,
yeah.
the royalty didn't. We're talking about the Pope, okay?
Oh, the Pope. Okay.
The knights were the royalty. The knights were not a force. The knights were not a hired army. They had nothing to do with the army. The knights were lords. They had land. They had serfs.
Yeah.
They were sitting up in their castle, decked out in armor, eating and tormenting people.
Mhm.
Okay?
But who supported the knights? Would that
The
be
serfs.
Oh, but there was under the royal. It's under a royalty thing.
It's all
under
under
royalty.
It's all under the monarchy.
The
okay?
monarchy. Yeah.
And the king owns the land,
Right.
and the knights work for the king.
They work for the
and the
king.
knights were bored.
Right.
And the Pope said, well, if you want to rabble rouse, do me a favor. Go to Jerusalem
Right, okay.
and liberate the holy centers of Christianity from
Right.
the Saracens who are pagans.
Right.
Okay?
And so there was a real
Infidels.
connection between religion and the royalty. They had, I mean, with the popes and stuff that he could.
There
get
was a
them-
big connection. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Pope could crown the king.
Oh, right. He had control
The
over
Pope could crown
So
the
he
king.
actually was higher, almost was over.
Oh,
the
absolutely.
royalty.
Yeah, there was
Yeah.
that dynamic. So,
Yeah.
so even though the king held the land, the Pope held the.
Right, and the leadership that he got, he would grant the leadership to the royalty.
Yeah, yeah.
All right,
So the Pope
Right.
had some sway,
right,
but mostly he just tried to
Yeah.
inflame.
yeah,
It was a little bit like what Donald Trump did with the MAGA people. They didn't have anything to do. They were restless. They wanted to fight an enemy. So Donald Trump invented one, and he put them to work. Now he was willing, like the Pope was willing to accept the service of the knights to liberate Jerusalem. Donald Trump was willing to accept the sacrifices of the MAGA crowd to remain president. If he could inflame these people and become president, that's great for him. He doesn't care about these people, but he'll take their service. And the Pope was the same way. He didn't care about the knights or the kings. But if they need something to do, and they clearly did, well, then I have a job for you.
Yeah, I
Go
know.
to Jerusalem and
Yeah.
liberate it from the Saracens.
Anyway, but getting back, to we were. I
That's
guess
how that whole thing worked.
we were talking about McCarthyism because we're talking about Gina McCarthy, who is now the climate czar or something. There's a name for her. Climate. She's the climate person for Biden. She had been the
Whatever that
EPA
translates to.
director under Obama, and so the issue that Kat was saying, to the young people to not stop bugging us to do the right thing.
I didn't say that. That was what she
That's
said.
what she said, right? The Gina
I say that's
McCarthy.
unfair.
That's unfair. Yeah, right. And that they know what to do, and they're not doing it. They're not doing it, and she knows it. She
Who's
knows.
they?
The administration,
Yeah.
the Biden administration.
All the administrations.
She knows that they're not doing enough.
They have better access to the science than the young people who they're encouraging to bug them about the science. Gina McCarthy knows exactly what she's supposed to do.
And when Joe
She just
Biden
doesn't want to do it unless she's forced to.
and right by the children to
Who have
force
to
them,
come
who's out there,
and
it's their
protest,
future. It's their future.
Set aside their education, set aside their
I know.
socializing with their friends, and fly to Washington, D.C. on their own dime, risk being shot in the brain with the rubber bullet when the Capitol Police show up, which, of course, they didn't show up for the MAGA crowd, but they'll sure show up if you're going to protest about climate change. Oh, yeah, they'll be out there with real bullets, okay,
Right.
for that shit show.
Yeah.
And they'll shoot you in the face
Right.
and destroy your life, so that Gina McCarthy can say, well, has anyone told me today about saving the world from
Right.
climate change? No?
Well, and
okay,
then-
then I'm going to sign away the Anwar. Ha ha, you weren't here to watch me. Here I go.
Right. And then on the other hand, you have the Texas governor suing the federal government for in any way challenging his oil and gas industry.
That might work.
So
And if he can buy his oil and gas industry some time, then they'll reward him richly for that. So
Right.
he's going to play that game.
yeah. So we're creating a lot of. There's just a lot of hostility going on. That's now, with Texas, saying that they're not happy with. It was Texas? Yeah. It was the governor of Texas, and so. And Joe Biden has, that's why, he's just very carefully always said that these are new jobs that we're going to create, that we're going to give you new jobs,
They don't want
new
the new
training.
jobs. They don't want the new jobs.
They don't want it.
They don't want the new jobs.
Right. They want the oil and gas,
Yep.
the old jobs.
Yeah.
Because why? Because they most likely.
That's where their money is.
But if we said that they get the same amount of money, you
Okay,
know.
but the workers have no say. It's the corporations. The corporations don't want the new jobs. Well,
Of
look,
course they don't.
why
Yeah.
would they want new jobs? It's going to siphon their workers, and they'll have to pay them more. So they don't want the new jobs. They don't want new jobs of any kind.
Yeah.
The only job in this town is working for the oil company. That's it, son. You're going to have a job, you got to work for the oil company. Doesn't matter how they treat you. Doesn't matter how they treat the environment.
Yeah.
The only game in town is the oil company. Ha, ha, ha. Try to change that, buckwheat. Just try. I want to see you try. You're going to try and change that? I want to watch. One job. You got one job in this town. This is an oil town. Work for the oil company. That's it.
Right.
They like that. They like that answer. They like that answer. Because this is an oil town, one job.
Right. Right. And then
So they're
what it
trying
is,
to
I
defend
know
that.
what it is too, is that if there's another job, like that's the solar installation and
Anything
wind,
else.
then
actually.
they have to pay those workers more money. And then they have to pay them hazard pay because it's risky. And, you know, these type of things
Okay,
as regulation
it's the
comes
same
in.
story as I've always said. Okay.
Yeah.
The boss running the oil rig, he goes out to unlock the gate in the morning, let the workers in. He wants to see his regular workers,
Right.
and he wants to see 4 or 5 more who are looking for work.
Right.
Now, if he goes out there
Right.
and he unlocks the gate and the workers come in and there's no one else looking for a job, you know who else is going to know that there's no one else looking for a job? His regular workers.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so they're going to think, oh, hold on. Is there a labor shortage maybe? Well, this is a good time for me to go to my
Right.
boss and say, hey, you need to give me a raise. Or I might
Or
quit.
I'm out of here.
Or I
It's too
might
risky
quit.
working
And
on
the boss,
an oil rig.
then the boss is thinking, oh, I'll hire somebody else. And the boss thinks, oh, wait, that's right. I didn't see anybody else out there. So the boss wants to see unemployed people all the time, unemployed people on the streets.
Right.
When he sees unemployed people on the streets, he knows he doesn't have to pay wages
Right.
because they'll work for peanuts.
Right. And now the governments, you see how the governments.
And if there's another big
Yeah.
business comes to town
Yeah.
and says, hey, we're going to pay a
Yeah.
good wage if you
Yeah.
work with us,
Right.
then he wants to run that business out of town.
Right.
He doesn't want that.
Right, exactly.
He doesn't want low unemployment. He wants to see his 8 employees lining up at the gate to come in, and he wants to see 8 more begging for work.
Right. And that's how you can see how government is so tied to industry.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And how it's
And how the
controlled
government doesn't give a shit about you.
the people.
They just
That's
if
all
the-
right. That's what we were
If the
talking
oil
about.
company
Yeah.
wants to see huge unemployment lines because that makes it cheap for them to hire labor, then that's exactly what they're going to get. Long unemployment lines. And then there's, they arbitrage the labor. And you better not complain about the work you do or it's dangerous or anything else, because I'll fire you and hire somebody else who knows better than to complain.
Right.
Because there's lots of people want to do this work.
Right.
Well, they don't want to do this work, but they want to do something because that's the deal in capitalism.
And
you
that's,
gotta work or you can't take
and
care of
it
yourself.
shows you how tied politicians are to corporations. And we saw that this morning when we started talking about Sam Liccardo pushing everybody to go to the restaurants, because there's the Restaurant Association and the Chamber of Commerce that supports the politicians. We
That's
saw
right.
that with Deb Davis, and how
And they are pulling
It
in
blew
their,
up, but-
they're pulling in their loans, and they're saying, okay, Sam, we helped get you elected,
right.
and we want you now to go out there and tell people to go to the restaurants. But what about the pandemic? Yeah, we don't care about the pandemic.
And now
We
Greg
just want their money. And we don't care if they die after they go to our restaurant. They can go to our restaurant and die. We got their money.
and the
okay?
restaurant, the restaurant workers are the ones that are dying. And so they that's what I'm saying is like, don't go to the
Okay,
restaurant.
that's even less of a problem because restaurant workers are a dime a dozen.
Mhm. And we don't care. And capitalism doesn't care about
No,
the
no.
the workers.
No. Even if they say they do, they don't.
Right.
They care about capital.
Right.
That's why it's called capitalism. Your only concern is raising money.
And so Texas is prepared to sue Biden administration over environmental regulations. And this Governor Greg Abbott has been suing the EPA for years. Greg Abbott
Yeah, that's his
pledged
profession.
Thursday to protect the state's oil
That's
and
why
gas
he keeps getting
industry
elected.
from the Biden
The
administration's
oil and gas people
climate
know
agenda.
They'll go to bat for them.
Right, exactly. And this directed state
So
agency
they're
heads
calling in their
to
their
identify
debt.
opportunities for litigation over federal environmental regulations We're here for a singular purpose today, Abbott said after a roundtable meeting with industry leaders in Odessa. I guess Odessa is Texas, to make clear that Texas is going to protect the oil and gas industry from any type of hostile attack launched from
language
Washington.
of war.
Right, exactly. Language of war.
The language of
and that's
war.
what I was wanting to hear.
Attacks, crosshairs.
And don't forget that the restaurant industry told Gavin Newsom that their guns were what is the expression? Your guns are clicked. What's it called?
Loaded or whatever.
The guns were loaded against Gavin Newsom if he dared to close the restaurants again.
Yeah.
He dared. They said it.
That's
the restaurant. He was
threat.
sued. He was sued, and they said, "Our guns are loaded. If you ever try it again."
They love that game. And they saw that play out in the Capitol of the
And
United
he
States.
acquiesced. He acquiesced, and he said,
I'm trying
"We're
to say
done
something.
with staying
I'm
home."
trying to say
Oh,
something.
sorry.
The reason they can use that language so openly is because it worked on Capitol Hill on January 6th.
How did it work?
They got away with it.
They did get away with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Donald Trump got away with it. That's for sure, right? He's going to get away with it.
I'm not talking about the insurrectionists themselves. No one cares about them. The people who cared, the GOP and Donald Trump, got away with it. They got away with it. It worked. It worked.
It's true. Well, what worked? What did they get from it?
They had an armed insurrection,
Right.
and it worked.
But it worked in the sense that that they are still in Congress, all those Republicans that feel it was okay what happened.
Nothing happened to them. They
and
got
Donald
away
Trump
with it,
most probably will not get
completely fine.
stopped from being
And all they
running
have
for
to
president
do
again.
is next time they want to make a point, they have to find another army of insurrectionists, which can be easily had on Facebook and Twitter, and send them to the Capitol anytime they want to, any day, tomorrow they could do that.
And there was an insurrection in Miramar, right? Did you hear that? There was an insurrection in Miramar.
I don't know where that is.
Some recently, a government official in Miramar was captured by the military, and that's a coup. It was in other places there are coups, and we were very close to having a coup.
Okay, not Miramar, Myanmar, which is Burma.
Okay, Myanmar.
Okay, you're talking about a country.
Okay.
I didn't know that.
Okay, Myanmar is a country.
Myanmar.
Oh, it's also called Burma. Is that the
Used to
same?
be called Burma.
Okay. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. So yeah, this female head of state was. You heard about? You saw that?
I saw the headline. I didn't pay attention.
Yeah, and it was a coup.
Yeah.
And we almost had a coup. The cat says
we had a coup attempt. They just didn't pull it off.
So in a sense,
but they didn't get punished for it, so they won.
So that could happen again, and next time they will shoot them, right? And the fact that and this violence that they're talking about when he says
Congress and they'll kidnap them and they'll hold them for ransom and they'll kill them.
To make clear that Texas is going to protect the oil and gas industry from any type of hostile attack launched from Washington D.C. So the guns are clicked. What is it called? The guns are engaged.
They're using the language of war.
A war, yeah. President Joe Biden has outlined an ambitious climate change agenda with the goal of transitioning away. This is what the real fear of why they wanted Donald Trump. This is what it was. It was just, it was the climate issues.
It doesn't matter. It's to laugh. There's not going to be any pushback from Joe Biden. All right? He's not going to do it.
What do you? Oh, he's not going to do anything to take away the oil and gas.
No,
you mean?
He's not going to raise a finger.
Oh, you're saying that the Texas is safe, is what you're saying.
Okay, this guy Abbott, he's posturing. Okay, when Joe Biden backs down, which he will, he's going to say, "Ha! I see what I did for you, oil industry. See, I got the president of the United States to back down. I am that good, and you better keep electing me because I'm that good."
I know.
Okay. Now he'll just take full credit for it, but the truth is, Joe Biden really has no intention of rocking the boat. He's not going to do that. He's not a boat rocking guy, right? He just isn't. You can look at him, listen to him. He's not a boat rocking guy, and he's not going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got this woman, McCarthy, telling us, "Oh, you have to bug us every day. You know, if you don't bug me today, I won't
do the right thing.
I'll give away leases to drill in Anwar." You know, they're already setting it up that they're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. And you can say, "Oh, they're going to do it." No, they're not. They're telling you they're not. She's saying, "Bug me every day or I'm not going to do it." She's telling you she's not going to do it.
Among his early proposals, this is Biden's early proposals for climate plan, tougher methane regulations for producers, incentive to encourage consumers to buy cars that do not run on gasoline, required disclosure of climate risks from public companies and pausing oil drilling on public lands.
Okay, so Texas is a backwater of the world. They're not the smartest people. They're not that educated. They're a bunch of Bible thumpers. They allow dogma to inform their choices. Now, that was fine when you didn't have any real existential threats. You could just go with your dogma and you'd be all right, probably. Well, now Texas is going to get creamed by physics. You can't fight physics. If Joe Biden got Texans to do something else with their lives besides drill for oil, he'd be doing them a favor.
I know. That's what they said at the end of the article we read yesterday. The environmentalists said poor Texas should be fighting for oil and gas when they, climate change is causing such trouble in Texas.
Yeah.
With the hurricanes and the flooding and what it was. They should be thanking us.
Let me point something out to you because you just fell into a fallacy.
Okay.
Ending oil exploration and mining is not going to save Texas from hurricanes. You know why?
Yeah.
The changes now instituted in our climate system will be with us for 10,000 years.
Yeah.
If Texas is currently under a regime that's going to give them hurricanes 10 times a year, then that's going to be the case for 10,000 years.
Yeah, but the environmentalists were trying to alert them to the problems. Yeah, right. It's not going to change overnight.
Okay, so I am not going to put up with anybody saying, okay, Texas, you need to get off of fossil fuels if you want to avoid hurricanes.
All right.
No, that actually is not the discussion.
All right.
They are now in a new climate regime, and they're going to stay there for 10,000 years.
Well, okay, that's the truth. That is the truth.
Okay, so there's no if, else, or therefore.
Yeah.
If they're in trouble, then they're in trouble for the rest of human history.
Yeah.
They're in trouble for the rest of human history.
Well, yeah, but okay.
And that's why we start talking about places on this earth that become uninhabitable.
Right.
That's where that whole discussion comes from.
Yeah.
How can you talk about this place becomes uninhabitable without making note of the fact that the changes that are going to come are going to be forever? All right. That's what uninhabitable means. It means you can never go back.
Yeah.
The upper part of Africa used to be green, or greener. Now it's just sand dunes. Something happened. There was no way they were going to endure that. They had to leave, and they did. Now no one lives in the Sahara Desert.
What you're saying is that the environmentalists trying to say to the Texans, hey Texans, get a clue. You're the one that could benefit from the climate. The climate mitigations or
not for 10,000 years they won't benefit.
Okay, right, but it's like are we going to do nothing then? We won't stop, and the environmentalists are saying, "Come on, guys, let's stop because we're making a mess of our world," and to say that wouldn't be motivation enough to slow the hurricanes. Maybe, and what you're saying is we can't slow the hurricanes. We can't stop the flooding, but we could by stopping make it less worse. Correct?
Maybe,
right. There's no guarantee that it's, but the alternative is total extinction, right? If we keep going the way we're going, right? We know that. And we go to, 7 degrees C above pre-industrial or, that's the end. That's total.
You think you're always mentioning extinction as if that's the worst possible outcome. There's actually a worse outcome than that.
The end of life on Earth.
No.
What?
There's a worse outcome than extinction of all humans.
Right. Oh yeah, definitely. That's right.
The worst outcome is that you kill 99% of humans. And the only ones that get to go forward are the ones who caused the extinction of humans.
Right, yes, right.
That's actually worse.
That's even worse.
That's even worse. If it killed all of us down to the last child, we would at least say it was just. It won't be. it's going to be a genocide that's unjust.
Right.
There's going to be survivors, and it's going to be the same people who caused the situation in the first place.
Yeah.
That's why they don't care. They know they're going to be fine.
Yeah. But
They
I
know
think,
they're going to be
I
fine.
think the worst case scenario that you might say is, is just bring us back to, that the earth is uninhabitable. Period.
Okay, I don't
Done.
know how to explain this to you. I want you to go out in your neighborhood today, go on your walk, and ask people if they care about extinction of anything.
Yeah.
Or if they care about the destruction of all life on earth. Go ahead, go out in your neighborhood and ask anybody, one person, any person, your best friend, ask them what they think about that. And they'll say they don't have any thoughts about that.
Not going to happen.
Yeah, that's too big for me. I don't really care. It's not happening to me personally. Don't want to go there. That's what you're going to get from these people.
Right. I have too many problems. I got to think about my.
Yeah, I got too many problems to deal with extinction. Now, if you want to get their attention, ask them how they feel about the closure of their favorite restaurant. They'll be all up in arms. And if you say, I think it's a good idea that your favorite restaurant should close, they'll shoot you in the face. I mean, but if you tell them, yeah, your entire family down the road, a couple generations, could be absolutely wiped out by climate change. They won't have any thoughts about that. It's the fact, and you can't explain it. You just have to accept that it's a fact.
Yeah, it's just our monkey brain.
It's our monkey brain. It's how we deal with risk analysis and risk assessment. We don't do it very well. Okay.
Right. That's why the COVID was more powerful in changing our behavior.
And even that wasn't
not enough. Yeah, not enough. We're still dying.
Yeah, we're still dying from coronavirus. Don't tell me coronavirus made an impact on people. It did not.
Not on Americans.
No.
Not on Americans. We're so deeply embedded in capitalism.
We're so deep into capitalism. The thought of not making money on any particular day is anathema. It's blasphemy to talk about not making money today.
Yeah.
It's capitalism.
Right.
And people are in it up to their eyeballs. And if you come along and say anything about capitalism, damn, I might not make money today. Oh, really? You're not going to make money today? Oh, no. Why? Well, I lost my job. Oh, no, you lost your job. That's the worst thing in the world. How are you going to survive? I mean, you'll get all that.
Right.
But if you come along and say, species extinction, we may not have pollinators for our crops. Oh, yeah, what? So what? What about it? We'll do something else. We'll figure out some other way to pollinate crops. I don't even know what pollination is. What are you talking about?
Right. Exactly.
They won't get it.
Yeah.
They understand money, work, economic growth, vacation, spending, Amazon Prime. These claim their existence.
Right.
And if you can hear you, and they can even discuss it with you. Yeah. But if you talk in any other terms outside of those, their eyes glaze over.
Money.
They don't understand what you're talking about.
Money is the root of all evil.
No, it isn't. It's the root of all thought.
All thought?
Yes.
Is that how you think?
Money is the root of all thought.
Really?
We've been overtaken by capitalism.
Oh.
All that anybody thinks about is money.
Right. What? And then we have to stop thinking about money. And this thing
being the root of all evil, that's just bullshit. It's worse than that. That's painting it rosy colors.
Oh, okay.
It's the root of evil, because we all know what evil is. So money's not a problem. No, money it's worse than evil. It's the basis of all thinking. People think about money exclusively. They never don't think about money. Mm. That's why they're so comfortable throwing their children in daycare at 3 weeks of age. They don't care. Mm-hmm. I got to get back to work. Now, what does that mean? I need the money. I want the money. I want to be near the money. I want to see the money. I want to hear the money. I want to put my hands on the money.
But because money is translated to, food, clothing, and shelter, our basic needs. I mean, if you think about it, I mean, yes, you can think, you want a boat and you want to go traveling to Hawaii, but basically it is, you can understand where money is translated to the basic needs, because we don't have other ways of getting it. What?
Women with children who work spend all their money on providing for their children and their families.
Right. Right. So that's what I'm saying.
You just said that these women are going to work so they can,
Hey Google, stop.
food and shelter and all this stuff. Well, the reality is that new?
Yeah.
The reality is they end up spending all the money on the services they would have provided their families for free.
Yeah, but what a lot of them don't have anybody else providing food, clothing, and shelter like you did as a husband, you know? So then they are going to work to provide food, clothing, and shelter.
No, they're not. They're going to work to buy nice shoes, nice clothing, to hang out with smart people who don't drool and shit their pants.
Well, but I okay, there's some level of that, but Joseph Morris, racist Florida man, clean water, whatever. But basically, it is that money has become, the means of translating to basic. What happened there?
I'm ending this.